To bring attention to my series So They Say on my Patreon, I want to do a reading of my first tale, The Not Deer, here. The art that you see is from Risa Villa, and this is one of the main characters. Where do monsters come from? Some say they come from the deep crevices of our mind, the nightmares we invent out of our own fears. Others say they are very real, hiding in the shadows where we have forgotten them. Somewhere between fantasy and reality sits a third option, where our minds fill in the blanks, in places our eyes fail to make comprehension. This is where monsters truly lie, or so they say. In a dark forest, a man holding a lantern runs down a dirt path, panting as he periodically looks back to something chasing him, the sound of heavy galloping closing in on him with every second. He is grabbing the arm holding the lantern with his free hand, a wound beneath it bleeding profusely as he limps with all his might. He turns back again to ensure his escape. His foot falls into a hole, causing him to fall into the dirt. He holds firm to the lantern, keeping it upright as he gets to his knees and turns himself over. The galloping closes in as he tries to crawl away to no avail. The galloping comes to a sudden stop, and a quiet moment takes place before it is replaced by a slow trot. 1 step, 2 steps. The man listened before looking up in horror. Standing over the man, bathed in the light of the lantern, were 2 thin-hooved legs connected to a large brown body. The man looks up to see gray, cloudy eyes staring down at him, a foaming mouth from an elongated snout, and sharp antlers covered in gore. The deer lets out a screech that shakes the leaves on the trees, and the man screams in response as the standing deer slammed its feet onto the lantern, bringing the forest into complete darkness. July 19th, 7077. A hand lights a match and puts it to the wick of a candle, causing it to light. "That's the rumor anyways," the raspy voice of the hand owner says as he shakes the match out. This is Gerald Copper, a man in his late 30s. He owns a small tavern in Arcade, New York, where everyone is welcome if they have coin and don't cause trouble. His buttoned-up white shirt is covered in beer and sweat, and the fabric has been stretched and warped out of shape. But it's his favorite shirt. His tavern, by contrast, is clean and orderly. The wood floors are smooth and polished. The bottles behind the bar are organized by alphabet and year. The bar is clean and has a slight lemon smell as Gerald pours a bit of liquid onto the wood and wipes it down with a fresh cloth. At the opposite side of where Gerald stands, a young man in his early 20s wearing a brown jacket that seems to swallow him sits patiently, listening. This is John Craneson, a writer for a newspaper. As the country is wrapped up in a sprawling war, other stories are sought out to get away from the tragedies of battle. John is a writer sent out to look for these stories. He writes in his parchment journal, frantically dipping his pen in an ink jar as Gerald speaks. "Fascinating," he says. "What else did he say?" Gerald shrugs as he continues to wipe down the bar front. "He was too busy screaming for anyone to know what he was saying," he explained. "You ask me, he's probably out drinking. Ain't no deer that can stand up." He said with a chuckle. A dry scoff comes from the back of the bar from an oak-toned man in his mid-40s. He shakes his head as he puts down his glass. "You all right? No deer can stand up like that. That right there, that was a not deer," he explained calmly. I've hit the 5-minute mark on my reading. The rest of the story can be found on Patreon. If you enjoyed this reading, please like this video and follow me for more. Again, the art is by Ray Sevilla, amazing artist, and the stories are by me, Billy Towers. If you made it this far, thank you, and I appreciate you. Enjoy.